Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Father Time with Mike Montez. My name is Mike Montez, and I would like to invite you all into my world for just about 15 minutes this evening. Um, I'll give you all a little bit of a background on my show and where I got the concept and where I got the idea from. Not too long ago, had a very hard awakening when I had my 9 year old call me crying because she felt like she didn't know who I was. Because she never really got to spend time with me. She never really hears from me. And that is not something that is very easy to deal with. Um, so, really, Father Time is a diary slash memoir slash whatever you want to call it that I'm making so that I can help others not make the same mistakes that I made, because a lot of my problems stem from the uh, relationship or lack thereof with my father when I was growing up. And because of this, my relationship with my kids aren't the best. Um, I do want to say, before I go ahead and start this, that where me and my father didn't have the best of relationships, we have one now. We have a relationship now. Like it's not like it was. It wasn't. At first, there was no relationship. I'm gonna just be honest. It was a lot more of me wanting to be loved, me not knowing what I did to deserve not having my father around, and me just like wondering what it would be like if my father actually did love me. And I can't say that I tried to pattern myself after what I wanted to see in a father. I tried to be the man that I wanted to see, but it turned out that I was being just like my father. And so this is why this episode is called How I Became the Father I Never Wanted to Be. Um, there's so many things that I wish I could have done differently. There's so many things that I wish I could have grown up with that I didn't have. But the main thing was my father. Um, there was even a time that I can remember where I wrote a poem, and I don't know where it's at now. I was in high school. It was a long time ago, like 11, 12 years ago. And in the poem, I stated that my father died when I was in the sixth grade. I was like 12 years old. And the man that I referred to in that poem was actually my grandfather. Uh, he was the representative of my father's side of the family that I saw the most. And if it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't know the other side of my family from Adam and Eve. Like, he made sure I went to all of the Christmases. He made sure I went to all of the Thanksgivings. He made sure that anything that any of my cousins, siblings, uh, anything that they got, I got. He made sure that we all got together to go to his house when feasible, when possible. Like that for the longest, I viewed him as my father and not just my papa. But I digress. I can say that when my daughter called me and woke me up, it was like one of the worst feelings that I could possibly have, because I always prided myself on how I was not gonna be the same father that I had. And from me running away and joining the military, yes, I literally ran away to join the military. Me um, not even spending time with the family that I have, me not taking time to actually help raise the kids that I'm actually currently living with, I was more like my father than I would care to admit. Um, yeah, I make sure they eat. Yeah, I make sure they have clothes. I make sure they have a roof over their head. It's a job of a parent. You nurture them so that when they do grow, they know what to do when they get to that, when they get to your same point. But as far as actually spending time, that was out the window. I didn't ever really spend time with any of my kids. Um, I can remember back before I even left home and joined the army. Yeah, I would have my daughter, but it would be more so a I got her and give her to my mom so I can go to work, because I was one of those who, as long as she's eating, she's fine. As long as she's got clothes, she's fine. As long as I can afford to pick her up in my own car, she's fine. Like, I'm taking care of my kid, but that's not what that is. That's not taking care of your kid. That is more so you running away from your responsibilities. And that's what I did for years. I did it for 3 years in the same city. And then for 3 more years when I left for the military. It took me way too long for me to realize that being a father is more than just having a baby. More than just like saying that, hey, I'm on her birth certificate. More than just saying, hey, she looks like me. That that doesn't make you a father. What makes you a father is actually caring, actually taking care of, actually being a part of their lives. That's what makes you a father. And it took me a long time to learn that. Um, it took me a long time to learn that without without a father figure, there's really no good that can come of it. There's no good. You're Everything that I did was to prove that I was not like my father. It wasn't out of me actually wanting to. It wasn't actually out of me caring. It wasn't actually out of me uh, trying to be a better person. It was literally just to prove to everybody that I'm not like my father. Um, we'll get into why my father wasn't around on another episode. I'm not ready to open that can of worms, but he'll tell you more than any more he'll tell you more than anybody. Like, he is proud of who he is now, but he knows where he's been. My father was sick for a very long time. And for all of you out there who know what sick means, yes, he was sick for a very long time. Um, and God willing, I will definitely have him on the show so he can tell his own story. Like I said, in another episode, I will start to kind of break down why he wasn't around through some of my story times. But um, we'll say that for another episode. I am grateful for the relationship that we do have now, because he's better. He's actually teaching me more than I've ever learned my entire life with all of the male role models that I've ever had. I can't say the one thing that he taught me that I will always carry and I will never forget. For all of my viewers in Louisville, Kentucky, y'all know where Beach Terrace is, right across the street from Central. It's one of my kids now, making noise while I'm trying to record. No, he's fine. What's up? No, so y'all know where Beach Terrace is, right across the street from Central. That's where my dad lived at. And you want to come in? This is Montez. Want to say hi? Hi. Yeah, and we were going somewhere. I don't remember where we were going. It was right after my grandfather passed, and right after my dad started to get better, and we were leaving the house. We were leaving his apartment. And he took his umbrella with him, and I asked him why. Like I didn't know why he had an umbrella. It was sunny outside. It was pretty warm outside. It was the middle of summer. Um, and the one thing that he taught me that day that I will always take with me and I will never forget is it's always better to have it and not need it than it is to need it and not have it. And that stuck with me. I can't remember how old I was. Well, no, I take it back. I was like 12 or 13. It was, like I said, hot. It was hot outside. We were walking to maybe the Tart to go somewhere. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. And that is the one lesson that my father has taught me that has stuck with me for 28, 16 years now. 16, almost 17 years. That is the main thing that my father has taught me that is positive, that has stuck with me. But we will get more into those stories in later episodes. I just wanted to kind of come in and let you all know what you're getting into. So if you are a new father and you feel like you don't know what you're doing, that's okay. None of us do. You can ask you can ask your father. You can ask your uncles if they got kids. You can ask your teachers, your male teachers, if they got kids. You can ask any adult male that has a kid. They don't know what they're doing. None of us know what we're doing. Um, but I can tell you my experience and I can tell you my story and see if you can use some of it to help you with what you're doing. I can um, try to equip you with something that you might need in order to help you raise your kids or not be that absentee father. Because another thing that is really important is that you need to know you can't just throw money at it. You can't throw money at fatherhood. You can you can't. You cannot throw money at fatherhood. You can buy all the shoes, you can buy all the clothes, you can buy every bike, every toy. You give them money. Like it, at that point you're no longer a father, you're just a guy that gives them money. You have to actually spend time. You got to learn your kids. You got to get to know your kids. I brought Michaela up here for a month and a half. And for the first week, she she was ready. When we went to pick her up, she was ready. We got up here for the first week. She came to me crying because she doesn't know me. I didn't know her. That's not okay. My daughter's 9 years old now. I was there for her first birthday. I can't remember if I made it to her second birthday party or not. I can't remember if I made it to her third birthday party or not. But I do know that when she turned 4, I was in basic training at Fort Jackson. When she turned 5, I was in South Korea. When she turned 6, I don't remember where I was. I know I wasn't at her birthday party though. I had to been up here in New York. I didn't see my daughter until her 7th or 8th birthday. I can't remember. But that is not okay. I and I mean I couldn't really make it to her 9th birthday, but we did pick her up. It was her 8th birthday. I seen her for her 8th birthday. We went skating, we rented out the whole skating rink. Had a ball, had a blast. Went and spent money at Texas Roadhouse, all that good stuff. But it wasn't the money that I spent that made the experience for it. It was the time that I spent that made the experience. So I do want to stress that being a father is not about being an ATM. Being a father is about taking and spending time with your kids. It's about taking and spending and giving them the knowledge that you were given. And if you weren't given it, it's not your fault. I need you to realize that it is not your fault. However, your relationship with your father, it's not your fault. You're not the reason they were gone. You're not the reason that they were working all the time. You're not the reason that they were abusive. You're not the reason they were alcoholics. You're not the reason they were drug addicts. You're not the reason that any of that. It is not your fault that you weren't raised the way that you should have been by your father. So if you let go of that, it will definitely help you out in the long run when realizing that you're not the reason. So treating your kids as if they're the reason that you're doing what it is that you're doing is not the right answer. They didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to be here. Y'all didn't ask to be here. Your mother and your father made the decision. In some cases, your mother made the decision. In some cases, your father wanted to get. We're going to leave that for another day. I'm not going to go that deep. I'm not going to go that harsh. I'm just going to. I'm just going to say this. This is going to be a real podcast. This is not going to be something that you want to hear. It's more so going to be something that you probably need to hear. And God has put it on my heart to share this with you. So whoever needs to hear this, it's going to be here. You look below, you see I have a Facebook and a YouTube. It's Father Time with Mike Montez for both of those. It's going to be here. If you ever need a reminder, if you ever just need to come back and rewatch an episode, it's here. And with that, I'm going to stop boring y'all. I'm going to come back next time with story to start off the next episode. And we are going to get to know who Mike Montez is and why Mike Montez is who he is. Until next time, this is Father Time.